Hello everybody, I'm Ramses.
And I'm the Vespor.
And we're here for our holiday special edition. It's gonna be the Heman and Shera Christmas special.
That's right, this thing lives on in infamy, or should I say popularity, due to some wonderful quotes from our villain here.
Well, I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil. Oh.
It's gonna be a fun Christmas adventure here, and I can't wait to enjoy this all with you. But before we get to the actual review, we gotta give you a little bit of background here. So, this episode was written by not one, but two people, and one of the writers is very famous. We have Bob Forward, who's done many episodes in the cartoons of the 80s, and Don Heckman. This was originally broadcast on December 25th, 1985.
One of those rare times where they actually played a Christmas special on Christmas.
So the interesting thing about this special is not only that it showed up on Christmas, the VHS showed up in 2005, and the DVD showed up in 2010. So it was a very long wait for our next time we'd actually get to see this. But the interesting thing about this is He-Man already wrapped up its series. So this is 1985, and there was going to be no new episodes of He-Man made, but Shera would go on for another year. So this is kind of like the dividing point where He-Man's on the way out and Shera was going to last. And it's such an interesting story how they get Christmas to Eternia and Etheria, which are two just distant planets that have nothing to do with Earth.
They should have shown this on December 1st, so all the kids will be begging for He-Man and Shera toys.
And I don't know how well it really got the Christmas message across. We're not going to give anything away, but yes, I think Vesper's right. They shouldn't have waited until Christmas Day to show this.
Be prepared for a cameo-filled episode.
Oh yeah, they're going to throw in as many characters into the background as they can, and a lot of major characters get like 0 lines, but they show up somewhere at least, and you're going to be surprised. And we are going to talk about it. Find out. So get ready, get buckled in. Yes, this is going to be spoiler-filled. I know it's a He-Man Shera episode, but still, if you want to see the episode, now's the time to pause. See the episode, come on back, and we'll review it with you. Now, let's get on with the plot of He-Man Shera Christmas Special.
And so what we have now is a nice opening scene where we see that it's now snowing on Eternia. And King Randor and Queen Marlena are preparing for Adora and Prince Adam's birthday party. So you see all kinds of cameos right here in this scene.
Let's just see if we can name some of the characters that flash by so quickly. We got Snoutspout, Fisto, Flutterina, Glimmer.
And we also see
Cringer is
staring at Glimmer's chest. Oh, this is a nice little gift.
Well, Merry Christmas, everybody. Now, the reason that we're mentioning Cringer is because, unfortunately, this is the only time you're going to see Cringer in this episode. I know it's shocking to believe, but this is the only moment that Cringer gets in this episode. You do not see him as Battle Cat. You do not see him complaining. He does not have one line or moment in this episode. Isn't that amazing?
Absolutely. And then we have Pika Blue, Bo, Castaspella,
Stratos, Madame Rez, Bosta and Tila, Cowl, Ram Man,
Broom,
Boss Man,
and we have Perfuma, Adora,
and some others that we probably missed, but that's how many characters showed up in this. Quickly, buy these toys, here's all the characters you can get now while they're still on the market. And none of them, except for Perfuma, will have any lines along with Endora in the suit.
And we see that they're decorating for this wonderful celebration. And we hear finally as Randolph and Queen Marlena are talking about how this all reminds her of Christmas. And Randolph's like, Christmas?
What's a Christmas? Well, it's a special time of year. And that's it. That's our explanation. And King Glander's like, oh, so I guess they're going to keep what Christmas means till later. And don't worry, folks, they will definitely mention what Christmas means in this episode. I know it sounds like, oh, it's going to be another cartoon. They skip over it. Nope, they really do actually focus on what Christmas means in the 80s.
And it's actually one of those rare ones where they actually talk about it. And of course, since it's Christmas, where would the men be? Why, they'd be working on a rocket ship. That's right, folks.
It's a birthday party. It's the middle of winter. What are we going to do? Adam and Man-at-Arms are hard at work on the Sky Spy. And what is this going to do? No, we can keep an eye on Skeletor. And you're going to find out why this is ridiculous, because they're going to show you in the next scene why they don't need the Sky Spy, but we'll save that little surprise for later. So what happens in this scene is Man-at-Arm and Adam are bragging over, oh, it's ready to go. This is going to be great. We're going to be able to spy. And who shows up from behind the scenes? Of course, Oroko.
And he's carrying a book, because this book is actually very important to the plot.
Adam and Man-at-Arms head back to the control panel, back in the building, and Orko's like, golly gee, and he's acting like a 5-year-old. We don't know how old Orko is, we don't know his mentality, but we do know he gets into trouble. But I never took him to be like a infant in mentality, but he's coming off as like a 2-year-old who's like, oh boy, it's a spaceship, I can't wait to get into it and try it out. and he sneaks into it, and he's behind the control panel. He's playing with the steering lever like it's the greatest thing ever. It's all corny, hokey stuff, but it's Oroko. You know, if you know the show, you know Oroko is mischievous, and he gets into trouble, and he likes to get into more than he can handle, and that's exactly what's going on.
And you also know that if he actually had his wand, he would actually have magical power that actually rivaled the sorceress. So, Oroko is not some little putz.
But he acts like it here. So they're gonna now go into the control room, Adam and Man-at-Arms that is. They're like, all right, let's do the initial test. And it takes off like a rocket ship. You've seen like a NASA shuttle take off. That's exactly how this Sky Spy takes off. They're, it's been successful. Oroko is trapped in it. He's like, uh-oh.
By the way, he's also the reason it took off, because, of course, he broke the ignition, and Adam, of course, just could not stop it because, well, Oroko is just that guy, you know, the one that always manages to ruin everything.
And now, before we get to the next scene, this is when they insert the title credits, because you need title credits in a show. It's going to be He-Man and Shera's logo shows up, which is very cool. And this is while he's flying in outer space, which is not going to make sense, because he's going to be back on Eternia a second later.
And if you have half a brain, you're going, how they get Christmas to Eternia? He's flying through outer space. I wonder if this is some sort of foreshadowing.
So, He-Man Shera, credits. We don't need to go to the credits, but it's called the He-Man Shera Christmas Special. The cool thing about the credits is they mix both themes. They mix the He-Man theme with the Shera theme, but with a Christmas undertone to it. So it's actually creative. They actually took some effort, and I like that they took that little extra effort, because Filmation, who made this, is not known for their high budget quality.
And here's the thing that surprises me most. We all always talk about how incompetent Skeletor is. Well, guess what he's doing on this day? He's actually patrolling his territory in a spaceship.
This is going to be where they introduce some of the later season characters. Remember, this is really like the last appearances of most of the He-Man characters. Some of them will show up in later Shera episodes. That's why it's not the last appearance for all of them, but this is pretty much it for most of the characters. So Skeletor's minions here aren't Beastman, Evil Lyn, or Merman, you know, the usual ones that you expect. No, it's some more rarely seen characters here, and the only one I remembered was Too Bad, because I had that figure.
And you wonder who's in those other three chairs. Well, we'll get to that in just a moment, because as Sky Spy is flying around, guess what? Everybody in the A's had a giant viewing screen to see what's going on, because remember, the Sky Spy's original purpose was to go and spy so they could see other things. Well, as you can see here, this screen can see Sky Spy just fine, so why do you need a Sky Spy when your televisions can see everything you need to?
Yeah, I don't get it. It really is mind-boggling. This was in the 60s and 70s also. I hope you guys have seen some of those old school Hanna-Barbera cartoons where the good guys would always be in front of a gigantic screen, and the gigantic screen showed whatever they wanted to see anywhere in the universe. I'm not just saying the world, the universe. Anywhere you want to see, you can see on the screen. So why do you need a Sky Spy if you already have a TV monitor that can do exactly that, and they're using the TV monitor to spy on Sky Spy? Is that Inception right there? You're spying on the Sky Spy with the TV to spy on the spy, but you don't need the Sky Spy because the TV is already spying better than the Sky Spy would spy.
But here's the thing now. Have to go get and save it from Skeletor, because they don't know Oroko is on board the Sky Spy yet. So what are we going to do? If you have He-Man, he's got to go through his transformation, and of course Dora's like,
I've got a feeling my brother may need some help.
He says it loudly to no one in particular, by the way. So He-Man's going to fly in on the laser bolt. Again, we're going to use some toys. We got to sell some things here. And this is where now we're going to have some tomfoolery. So He-Man's like, oh, gee, I better put a stop to this. He leaps onto it with zero effort. And he's going to tie up the collection arms. Now, this is where we first get to see the 4 minions that Skeletor chose for this very important spying mission that he's on here.
we start with Webster, Ratlore, Spikebore, and Too Bad. So we have a lot of ors in here. Well, my thing is are these guys actually certified to fly this thing? I really don't know.
Well, Too Bad definitely isn't, because this is where the hijinks are going to be. The rest of the characters get one line, but Too Bad's whole shtick is the two heads don't get along with each other. They're always arguing, disagreeing. Whatever one head says, the other disagrees. That's the joke with Too Bad. But He-Man's like, oh, I'll take care of this, as they're going to use the collector arms to collect the Sky Spy, and He-Man's just like,
You know what? These claws need a manicure.
As you can see, He-Man was throwing those one-liners just like Arnold was back then.
they're all like, all right, yeah, let's push the stop He-Man button on the console here. Not doing anything. No, this is not working.
And so Skeletor says, use the Force Belt.
And Too Bad's like, Force Belt, okay, and then both the heads are typing it. And now belts come out of nowhere and just start wrapping around He-Man. And it's not just one belt. it's like 20 belts just keep wrapping out of this hole. More and more keep showing up. The sword is laying there. It's not even flying off of a flying ship, which is amazing. Must weigh a ton. They finally got He-Man. What will he ever do? Oh no, they captured him.
Oh no! Guess what? It's time for Adora to show up and throw her sword in such way you're going, what? How's that work exactly like that? Show that to the audience.
Yeah,
here.
so yeah, Shera on Swiftwind just like, and they're freed. Oh wow, that was pretty easy. Okay, well, so much for He-Man being trapped, I guess.
And like brother and sister, they both bash in the side of the Collector's armor and literally short circuit the stupid thing.
I mean, the whole thing is just so nonsensical. And then they're gonna try to stop the Sky Spy. That's the mission here. The He-Man and Shera don't care about Skeletor anymore. They're like, oh, Sky Spy's running a loose. All right, we took care of Skeletor. Skeletor is mad. The 4 characters don't get too used to them because this is going to be the only moment Skeletor's true evil nature comes out here. Spycor's complaining that they're heading back. Very Transformers-like, where they're taking the voices and doing weird things with them. So the Spycor sounds all wobbly. The Snake has pauses when he's talking. Two-Bit has gruff voices. So it's like the most ridiculous voices.
He-Man ruined our controls. The automatic pilot is taking us back to Snake Mountain.
Skeletor's annoyed that they foiled again. He doesn't want to go back to Snake Mountain, so he's like, all right, you 4, you're out of here.
And take this.
I don't need a parachute.
That's what you think.
And there you go. That's the end of those 4 annoying minions that you never see again. That's it. Skeletor will now serve his own purposes for the rest of the episode. You never see any other minion of his in this entire episode. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed the 4 of them parachuting very, very, very slowly back down to Eternia.
And so now we see that the Sky Spy is flying off into the galaxy itself with He-Man in hot pursuit without a spacesuit. And we see Swiftwind flying through the vacuum of space where there is no wind.
So you gotta love when they forget you're in outer space. But the funny thing is, I think they used the wrong background. I know that's gonna sound crazy, but I don't think they were really in outer space. I think it was really, they were close to the top of the atmosphere of Eternia, but I think they used the wrong background because this makes no sense what is going on
This
here.
is He-Man, where he's pushed moons around in outer space by just floating there. I think that we are truly seeing them traverse through the entirety of the galaxy at this point.
But anyway, they see the Sky Spy disappears because Oroko does some of his magic, and poof, it's gone. That's the end of the Sky Spy.
We come to find Earth, which looks like Uranus because it's all blue now.
He stated that it is Earth. They do not hide the fact that it is Earth. So Orko's going to land in the Appalachian Mountains. It looks like
Maybe I'd say it's the rocket. And he gets thrown out at only a very minor speed. Look at him, he's just barely tumbling through the air. But he does show he has acrobatic skills because he catches, swings about, and makes a nice landing. Even though he can fly, he just suddenly falls.
It really looks like we are lost. We are like in the middle of nowhere mountains. Why would 2 kids be up here? That is the question you have to ask.
And they're wanting a Christmas tree, folks. If you live in the mountains, you know for a fact that you don't go screaming at the top of your lungs because that could cause an avalanche. And guess what, folks? We get just that.
Oh my gosh, they'll be buried by that avalanche.
So he's like, spell, please save him, float him out of danger, please work. And it actually works because he said the word please.
But it doesn't work for very long because the kids are like, put me down. He's like, drat.
But this is how Orko meets the 2 important sub-characters to this episode, and that would be Miguel and Alicia. That's right, our 2 child inserts, because that's what you did in 80s shows all the time. And we're gonna get just some random kids who are in the middle of nowhere in the mountain tugging a tree. Oh, kids, we need a Christmas tree. Go to the top of the Rocky Mountains and go get us one. We'll see you in a few hours after you figure out how to get that down.
Well, here's the thing. You see they put it on a sled. So you know what that means? These kids are hecka strong. Plus, they didn't use an actual saw. After that happens, Orko's like, hey, I like you guys. It's cold out here. Let's go back to my ship. And the kids are like, okay, Mr. Alien. Yeah, definitely. There's no legs. He's just floating there. He's just a torso.
Yeah, the whole thing's ridiculous. Vespor made the point when we were watching this that in the 80s, talking aliens were cool. You know, like you had Mac and Me, and you had E.T. You had all these talking aliens. Everyone was really into them. It was the non-talking aliens, like aliens in the movie. Those are the ones you avoided. But the talking aliens, yeah, they were the cute and friendly, and we got to help them. We got to go with them. So Orko would come over that. Yeah, Oroko seems harmless enough. If it's an 80s show, you're like, okay, talking aliens are cool. Like even Alf, he's a talking alien, right?
Now we shift back to Eternia and we quickly find out through Queen Marlena that it was Orko because they found the book. Oh god, we gotta find him.
Orko, oh no, this is terrible. We'll have to use the tracking beam to find him. Like, wow, they have a beam for everything, it looks like. We go back to Earth now, and the kids are like, oh golly, Mr. Orko, this is great. Yeah, come on back to my ship and we'll warm up a little bit.
We see the kids get back in there and start explaining about Christmas, the Christmas season, how it actually began, and you're like, whoa, they're actually talking about the real reason for Christmas and not just Santa Claus.
They're about to tell the whole history of how it started, and then it's like then we flash back to Eternia as he's about to tell the story of Christmas.
And this is where we learn about the ridiculousness of the tracking ray, and then finding out from Man-at-Arms, because he's like the Mac Daddy of them all and figuring things out. All these numbers are coordinates.
Oh, wait, let's look at these numbers here. All right, so the number is 122-000-661, etc., etc.
It doesn't matter.
There's like 30 numbers on this screen here. All right.
And it doesn't make any sense, but you know what? Thank God, Marlena, and she instantly recognized these coordinates because of the tracking ray.
So 1220, etc., etc. She recognized all these numbers in that formation.
That's right. Now we need to figure out a way to get Orko back, and that's where we find out that Man-at-Arms has made a wonderful teleportation ray. But there's a drawback to this. You know what that drawback is?
Yeah, he needs a certain gem that he doesn't have access to because it's not made on Eternia, which makes no sense. You're powering a teleporter with something you don't even have. Hey, I made a teleporter beam. Too bad it runs on a power source I don't even know exists.
Yep, that's how all mad scientists work. But thank God we have Adora here because she has a friend, Etheria, that knows where this crystal might be. And that is Mermista.
Are you making these names up, Vespor?
Oh, no, I'm not. This is quite easily nice and simple 80s naming conventions.
Mermista. So it's a mermaid that's blue, I'm assuming.
Yes.
They are traveling so fast to all these locations. I do not understand it. Is there a warp zone where they can go from Etheria so quickly? How are they doing this? It's like 2 seconds past and they're already in every location.
Now, I'm going to tell you this, Ramses, because I know you weren't a fan of He-Man like I was. But I'm going to go ahead and tell you now. They are called the Masters of the Universe for a reason. Flying between planets is nothing.
On the alicorn?
Yeah, exactly. And I don't know why Shera just didn't fly over and pick up everything and carry it back. Oh, wait, I know, because if she did that, the show would be over.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. So now she's going to be in front of...
Mermista?
Yes. She's going to have a very accented voice, so she's going to sound very elegant and very sophisticated. And she's just lying there like, I rule everything, this is great.
A water crystal. Yes, I know where one is, Shera. But it will not be easy to get.
There is a crystal that exists. You gotta go to the abandoned mines, and it's gonna be terrible, and you're gonna have to beat
the beast monster.
But don't worry, Mermista is going to help her, so that's good. Oh, thank you, Mermista.
And this is Etheria, folks. We see the ruins of a super advanced civilization. I'm sitting here thinking, in Masters of the Universe, and even Shera, they're all super advanced, so why not just reclaim it?
Hordak doesn't really do much in this episode, but he is still there because he shows up, but I think that this would be like one of his controlled territories, that's why it's so bad. No, controlled by another race that we'll find out. Shera shows up, and she lands in this abandoned factory area. We didn't realize it was water at first, because it just looks like it's mud or muck or something. It does not look like it's water. But no, it turned out to be water because the beast monster shows up right here.
Ramses, that's not the beast monster. That is the Loch Ness monster.
Oh yeah, it does look like the Loch Ness monster.
Until he comes out of the water and shrinks.
Mermista shows up. Hey, I'm here. I'll help you. So she flew on Swiftwind. She shows up 2 seconds later via the water. Again, we don't know how she did that. And she's like, you're going to have to distract her, Shera, so I can get the gem under the water. She was like, oh, don't worry. I got this. So what does the beast monster do? It exits the water. It's growling. It's snarling. It's like, I got you. Oh, no. And then it trips. And it looks like the biggest moron ever. It's like, don't look at me.
But here's something else that's kind of neat. Have you ever heard of the Monstroids?
I never heard of these characters. So now she easily, by the way, very easily defeats the beast monster. Mermista goes underwater, lifts up the stone. Here you go, Shera. Gee, that was tough. The monster tripped on its own and Mermista got the stone. Why was this a difficult task in the first place?
I think the writers and directors knew this because as soon as she gets ready to leave, we see mechanical tendrils shoot out of the ground.
It's another species that's native to this planet, and it's robots, and they're called the
Monstroids.
They're very Decepticon-like, and you'll see why in a second. You're gonna see a lot of size fluctuation. Sometimes they're 30 feet tall, sometimes they're 12 feet tall. They're all over the place in the sizes. And she was like, all right, I'll take care of this. But no, she really doesn't. She actually loses to them, which is amazing.
And this is where we see the advanced technology of the Monstroids.
Like, oh yeah, what are they gonna do? They grab for her and miss her. Well, that's expected. And then he arches back and a laser shows up. And what is it? It's a bubble beam. That's right. I'm not making it up. A bubble beam captures her.
Yep, and here's the funniest part of the entire thing. They're like, we need to go back to Monstroid HQ. So let's transform and get out of here. And their transformations are lame.
Right. They're very similar to the Decepticons because they're evil and we'll show you and we're gonna take over.
The Monstroids transform. Instead of attacking to destroy Shera, they just leave her there.
I mean, come on, you beat her with a bubble and you're just gonna be like, now let's show our very lame transformations and fly very slowly out of here while we ignore her and leave her here. Why'd you go through all that then? You didn't have to show up, you didn't have to do anything. Who cares?
No, the reason they did that, Ramses, is because we have to show off the fact that Shera can make her sword flames and cut through a bubble.
Better stand back, Swifty. It's going to get a little warm.
The whole thing's very stupid. So yeah, she's free, and that's it. That's it for them, I guess. Again, magically transports right back to Eternia in 2 seconds. And man, I was like, yes, this is what I needed.
A Carium water crystal.
Hopefully Oroko remembers that you're supposed to walk into any lights that you see.
Wait a second. I've seen a lot of movies and know a lot of things. Who in the right mind walks into the light? That doesn't usually mean you're going to get teleported. That means it's the end of the road.
But Man-at-Arms told Oroko, walk into lights. That's what he very clearly says, and there's a light.
Run to the light, baby! Mommy is in the light.
How are you waiting for her?
Mommy is waiting for you in the light. I hate you for this.
So he's gonna, come on kids, I'm gonna take you from your home planet and kidnap you pretty much.
Well, to be fair, in the 80s, this happened a lot, so I'm not too worried about it because that was just the mentality of the aliens in the 80s. Here's the thing. That white light then expands to take the Christmas tree and the Sky Spy as well, which makes no sense.
So yeah, they're all like, oh boy, we did it. And then they're like, Orko, you idiot, why'd you bring back humans with you?
You know, Adam's like, hey, who are these two?
That's Miguel and Alicia.
Queen Marlena's from Earth, so they're quite familiar with Earth, apparently, in Eternia. They're like, let's leave them alone. They're a little too angry over there.
So now we're going to learn more about Christmas. But before we get to that, we have the big bad of the episode. It's not Skeletor, it's not Hordak, it's Horde Prime, dum dum dum. And if anyone's seen Shera episodes, this character has shown up before. This is the big bad. He's the leader of all the Horde. Hordak actually works for Horde Prime. It's kind of like Ivan Ooze is the leader of Lord Zed. Think of it that way. If you've seen Power Rangers, it's the same idea. Bad guys always have leaders of leaders. I don't know why that is. Good guys don't really have that organization. But bad guys always have bad guys answering to bad guys.
The reason they're showing Horde Prime is because a good spirit on Eternia that wasn't there before. And that can overthrow the balance. Some sitting there thinking, you brought 2 kids, so they brought the spirit of Christmas with them?
I guess the idea is they're experts on Christmas, which they've established well into this episode. And I guess that knowledge is going to spread the goodness of Christmas. Because Horde Prime mentions a few things in this scene here, and it's actually very corny and silly. But he's like, so yes, the power of Christmas is so powerful that Horde Prime now is worried he's going to lose everything because these 2 kids are standing there in Eternia.
But we also see that he is exactly like Dr. Claw, because the only thing you actually see of Horde Prime is a nice metal fist.
Spirit of Christmas on Eternia may threaten my rule. I don't need any more goodwill and brotherhood on that planet. Find it and crush it.
Of course, both Hordak and Skeletor, being complete losers to Shera and Heman, start pointing out each other's flaws.
You can't even handle that muscle-bound female Shera.
Just a minute. What about the way He-Man handles you, Bone Brain?
Bone Brain? Why, you miserable excuse for a villain.
And Hordak and Skeletor are bickering, and Horde Prime's like, enough, kids! Whoever gets the spirit of Christmas will get a reward. We don't know what this reward is, but you'll be greatly rewarded. Then to be like, oh boy, rewarded, we'll get onto it right away, and that's the end of the scene. So now Orko, back on Eternia, is so happy he knows everything about Christmas. He's now a Christmas expert because he talked for 15 minutes to these 2 kids.
And they're worried about getting back in time for Christmas. And Marlena's like, oh, we'll get you back, but you know what? Let's combine my children's birthday with Christmas, and we'll have a wonderful celebration here. So even if you're a little late, guess what? You can still enjoy a nice Christmas party.
And they're like, oh, gee, will Santa be able to find us? And Queen Marlena's like, yes, Santa can find you anywhere.
And by the way, we have proof of this, because take a moment and look at this.
And there found Dave Nicholas with joystick in hand. The sounds I had thought were an alien mission were really just Santa playing pole position.
That's right, Santa can be anywhere. We've already learned this from many movies.
And Atari.
Santa has the power of the universe, so it doesn't matter what planet you're on, it doesn't matter what existence you're in, he will find you.
Yep, and now we go to an equally wonderful scene where we see Bo playing on his super lute, I'm going to call it, and Perfuma, who is probably one of the most annoying characters, in my opinion, in the entire series. In fact, we have Miguel and Alicia, and they're talking with them about Christmas, and Perfuma wants to help them. Instead of giving them a winter scene initially, she gives them a spring scene. Oops, our bad, because the kids pointed out, then they suddenly put down everything relevant to Christmas.
Bo will just play the super lute and they just start singing some rando Christmas song.
That was made specifically for this because they're singing about Christmas on Eternia.
Christmas spirits in the air, Eternia and everywhere. Don't you feel it? Feel that you're a part. Christmas season is a time of your heart.
As they're singing, Cal and Oroko are dancing in the air, and they're smooching and having a good time.
Like, again, Cal's another character that has 0 lines in this. He talks a lot in the regular Shera series, but here he's just showing up as a cameo. He doesn't say any words in this episode. Everyone's in a great mood, and then the song just ends, and then buzz, buzz, buzz. Oh, hey, what's going on? Something's showing up. They look up in the sky, and it's a
flying
Vespor. That's not, it's a shoe. It looks like a shoe, not a...
Oh, come on now. That's definitely a...
It is Hordak's evil ship, and that's what we're gonna call it. So the ship kidnaps Oroko and the 2 kids. Bo is left there in his flex pose where he's about to shoot an arrow, and he's frozen in place there. Why didn't he take Oroko, though? That's what I don't understand about this scene.
Well, I can tell you why, because in the 80s, you always capture the animal sidekick.
Or the whatever sidekick he was, yes. So now we're gonna see another funny Shera character. Oh, let's see Pika Blue, and that's the name. It's not. We're not talking about Pokemon characters here. She looks like a woman with peacock feathers, and their eyes on each of the 7 peacock feathers behind her. So they call her Pika Blue. She can look into deep visions and find out the answers to all your questions.
Which is a totally OP and broken character because she can see anywhere. But we don't talk to her just yet because we got to head back to Etheria. And you know what? For whatever reason, Hordak and his minions, they decide to fly through those stupid runes. And guess what happens?
The Monstroids show up again, because you didn't think they weren't going to show up again in this episode, did you, Vespor? Well, actually, you did think so. So Catra, yep, everyone's favorite, the woman with cat eyes on her head, is flying the ship. And now we're going to have another funny moment here. So for some reason, they're flying through an area that Hordak should have known very well to avoid. And a giant robotic hand just like leaps into the air. So this robot must be 300 feet tall all of a sudden. And just reaches for the ship and grabs it right in the center, crushing it as if, oh, look, I found a new toy to play with.
All I can say is that this is probably the most naughtiest scene you're going to see in a while in a He-Man Shera cartoon.
So he's going to grab the shoe ship and grab it down, and he's going to slam it down.
On a landing pad, folks.
Yeah,
this is a landing pad he brings them onto.
Now, they're going to get out, and the Monstroids are gigantic again. I don't know if they have size fluctuation here, but yes, they're going to be gigantic. And Hordak's like, I'm not afraid of you guys. I'm going to give you 10 seconds to escape, and you have to leave the kids with us. And it's like, why do they want the kids? How did the Monstroids even know that Horde Prime was looking for them? There was no, like, announcement made that he was looking for these kids.
Absolutely. And it doesn't make sense why they want the kids. And then they're like, Horde Prime will come after you. And you know what? They're like, we don't care. Bring it on.
So Catra and the minions, they all run away instantly. They want no part of this. And Horda's like, I'm not afraid of you. And then more weapons show up. And then Horda's like, I think I hear my mom calling. And he runs out of there.
On the other hand, I do have some urgent business elsewhere. Just wait till Horde Prime hears about this.
Yeah, at least Skeletor would have left with a little bit more class than that.
So the kids in Oroko are captured now by the Monstroids, and we still don't understand why they want them. We just know that they realize they're valuable for some reason.
Oh, by the way, folks, they never explain why they want them, ever.
Now we're going to find out who this Peekaboo is. She's better than Zoltan because she gives you instant results and you don't even have to pay her. It's a wonderful thing.
Why did they use her more in the actual series if she can tell you where everything is located at? Oh, so-and-so's been captured. Let's go to Peekaboo so they can tell us where they're at so we can go get them.
And she said, the Manchines will help you. So we're like, oh, what's the Manchines? I guess we'll find out. And we are going to find out because in the next scene now, these Manchines show up. So Orko and the kids are in some random prison and...
Hello.
Who are you?
My name's Cutter. What's yours?
And he's all, golly gee, I'll help you guys. And it's like the shortest explanation ever. Yeah, we're the good guys. Oh, yeah, we'll help you out here.
They tell us that they're the enemies of the Monstroids, so of course we're going to trust them, especially when they bring out a buzzsaw and cut through these bars.
They're like, here comes my brother. It's Zipper. Like, oh, Zipper, what is this character? And Zipper's pretty much like a scooter of some sort, and he also has a funny voice. He's like green scooter body. They all jump onto him. Golly gee, let's go, Mr. Zipper. And like, yep, here we go.
Like, I honestly can't stand this because all this is taking place on Etheria, and they have some cool bad guys, but why is all the good guys gotta be so freaking cute? It, like, disgusts me.
He-Man and Shera show up, and they pretty much wipe out the whole Monstroid race. So the wonderful He-Man who's supposed to protect lives, nope, he's gonna pretty much kill every single one of these.
Well, they're robots, so he's allowed to do that. Remember, in the 80s, folks, as long as it was a robot, even if it's sentient, you can destroy it, no problem. They're going to get help from all the other Manchines, and they're going to tell Miguel and Alicia, go hide. They're going to go hide by themselves because they found a little Manchine dog. And you know what? While this is all happening, Skeletor on his sky sled shows up and shoots them with his ray and takes the kids away. And Oroko suddenly just flung away from the ray, strangely enough, as we get to see the carnage of this battle.
The Monstroid menace is over thanks to He-Man and Shera. But He-Man and Shera are very foolish. They're like, go wait over there so Skeletor can get you on the side there. And that's exactly what happens. But not before the dog was taken too for some strange reason. But now comes some of the funniest parts of the episode because Skeletor is now going to be left alone with these kids and the dog. And Hordak is upset that Skeletor is going to try to get the credit. How dare you? I wanted to capture the kids. The Hordak on his big screen, because everyone has a big screen that can see everything in the universe, by the way. So Hordak on his screen is going to shoot the rear of the sky sled that Skeletor's on, and not before Skeletor gives one of the worst reactions I think I've ever seen someone give when they're being shot.
Well, it's Hordak. Red him. He wants the reward himself.
You know, Hordak's a pretty good shot because he didn't want to kill the kids. They say he shot the sky cycle. I want to point this out. Skeletor's like the butt laser because, you know, it's a very popular thing in the 80s, is the butt laser. And shoots Hordak. And guess what? He has to leave now, but not for making sure he can't fly away. So he shoots him again. And guess what? They crash into the mountains. They all die, and that's the end of the story.
Nope, not actually. They land into these mountains, and it's not just any mountains. These are like the windiest, the coldest mountains.
It looks like they crash land on Mount Everest if you want to get down to it.
Yeah, they're really high up. And Skeletor, who's just a skeleton, he doesn't care. He's not feeling anything. But the kids are all like, very cold, Mr. Skeletor. And he's like, I don't care. You guys come along and you better keep up. He's being very evil and it's great. And the kids are like, but we're cold, Mr. Skeletor. And they're freezing and they're shivering. And even the girl passes out for a moment. And Skeletor's like, I don't care. Then drag her along. You're coming along with me.
So we have Skeletor. Look at them literally freezing to death like a true master of evil. I'm like, Skeletor, you know, Horde Prime's probably just going to kill them anyways. You know what? Good for you. Then he says this.
Oh, I'm warm again. Thank you, Mr. Skeletor. You are very kind.
Kind? Never use that word around me. Now get moving.
So I guess Skeletor is feeling the spirit of Christmas now. Why would he give them winter coats? Well, that's not. Why would he suddenly care? That doesn't make any sense.
Why is his magic summoning parkas for?
We never really learned what Skeletor's powers actually are.
Well, to be fair, it's kind of hard to gauge his powers because he's always fighting He-Man, where you're fighting the most powerful man in the universe.
So he's like, there you go. You got your coats and now start walking. And then the dog from the Manchines is all like, oh, whimper, whimper. Leave that dog. That's it. That's where I draw the line. You're not taking any cute dogs with you, pretty much.
Well, Skeletor is like a true master of evil. He's trying to resist that goodness welling within his heart. But you know what? Everybody loves a puppy. And as we can see here,
Oh, blast it. I don't know what's coming over me. But whatever it is, I don't like it.
we see that Skeletor is actually a puppy lover.
But a little harmless puppy who's licking him now, like right on the mouth, by the way. This puppy really likes him. They're kissing, they're having fun, and Skeletor's like, oh, cut it out. Oh, what are you doing? It's a funny scene because it's sort of hinting at the fact that Horde Prime is right. The power of Christmas from these kids is so powerful, even Skeletor now can't stop being nice because he feels so bad that he's harming these kids and harming this dog, and it's all because these kids are just being so overly nice and polite to him, and he cannot be evil to them. So yeah, they're walking down the mountains, and kids are like, golly gee, you're a great guy, Skeletor. And this is what he says.
I am not nice. Oh, stop that!
Do you want me to hold him?
No, we'll go faster if I carry him.
Yep, so I guess he is nice. He's feeling the Christmas spirit. Even the dog is grinning. It's so happy. Skeletor looks like he's happy here. It is such a funny scene. So now they're going to talk more about Christmas because Skeletor is very curious. What is all this Christmas about? Oh, well, it's the time of year where everyone's nice to each other. Oh, I hate that stuff. Oh, and you got presents. Oh, do they explode? No, they're just nice gifts. Ah, I like when they explode.
Oh, you don't fight on Christmas? Oh, that doesn't seem fun at all.
So Skeletor's trying to be evil nice, which is kind of funny how the writers were just having fun with this.
They get suddenly interrupted by the abominable Snow Beast.
No, it is the Snow Beast.
And instead of Skeletor letting the Snow Beast just eat the kids, what's he do, Ramses?
He saves the kids and zaps it with his wand, sending it sliding down the mountain. Like, how dare you? Like, the kids hide behind him, even the dog's worried, and he's now being all heroic. It's hilarious. You never see Skeletor using his powers for saving someone, and he fires a hole under it, and it slides down like it's on an ice slide or something all the way down to nothingness.
Yeah, remember, this is 80s cartoon logic, folks. The bad guys can't actually show their power unless they face off against somebody that is not the hero.
So now he saves the kids, and the kids are like,
You really are wonderful.
Listen, I am not nice, I am not kind, and I am not wonderful.
As you can see here, he's fighting the spirit of Christmas with all of his heart. But you know what? He can't fight it, folks. Because that is the true power of Christmas.
Skeletor just like walks off into the sunset here with the kids. The whole scene's funny. So now we get back to the real story here. Horde Prime finally shows up and he sees, Skeletor has the kids. Aha! Alright, now to end the spirit of Christmas. But now we've seen Skeletor actually cares about the kids and the dog, and now he's going to actually have to make a decision here. So Heman, Shera, and Oroko show up at that moment, and then who shows up after that? Hordak. So now we have all four, including Horde Prime, are in one location here, all at the same time. This is it. The epic Christmas battle you've been waiting for. Hordak with all his robotic troops show up. He's going to send every robot he's got after Heman and Shera.
But here's the best part. When they show up, Skeletor and Hordak want to kill each other, and Heman just says, we'll take the kids after you're done fighting.
But yeah, even Heman's like, oh, hey, if the bad guys want to fight, we're not going to stop
This
them.
is the best part of the entire show right here. As you see here, Skeletor suddenly shoots at Hordak, and he makes a shield out of his arm, and it bounces back and knocks him out. But why isn't Hordak doing anything here? Listen, you have both your arch nemesis there, and your competitor in Skeletor. Why not finish off Skeletor while he's unconscious?
I agree. He could take over Eternia and Eternia at the same time. Shera and Heman beat up all the robots, and that's it for Hordak pretty much. Skeletor is going to actually wake up. The dog's trying to revive him. The dog finally gets him to wake up after Heman and Shera beat up every robot.
And just in time, because guess what? This is the 80s, folks. Our bad guys, Horde Prime, is going to not use a teleportation beam to bring up the kids, but a crane claw.
He likes to play games. He has a huge arm, so he wants to use an arm with an arm. That makes sense. So Skeletor's like, no, I can't let him take the kid. So Skeletor is feeling the spirit of Christmas now. This is it. This is the moment we've been waiting for.
Absolutely, and I am actually glad to see that the power of Christmas has moved him, because he stands up, he shoots the claw with his beam, it incinerates, goes up into the ship, and hits its engine.
Wow, so the claw was attached to the engine. Wow.
According to the lore, this ship that Horde Prime is using is the most powerful ship in the universe. And Skeletor just punked it.
So yeah, this whole ship now is pretty much disabled. It's destroyed all because of one little laser blast onto a claw attachment, by the way, and the ship goes crashing down right in front of Heman and Shera. Uh-oh. So you think Heman and Shera would like, oh, we got Horde Prime, let's finish him off. This is great. No, they're not going to finish off Horde Prime. Heman and Shera just do like a Superman throw where it's pretty much sent into the galaxy far away. The ship is destroyed, by the way, so it's going to take a very long time to fix this. And there it goes. That's the end of Horde Prime. And by the way, Hordak again doesn't show up again. Hordak wasn't defeated. Like, Hordak just tiptoed away while this was all going on, I guess. And now you have Heman, Skeletor, and Shera all standing there like heroes. This is like probably the only time you're going to see all three of them work together. They're all happy together. And Skeletor's like, what's going on? I can't stand this.
Well, I don't like to feel good. I like to feel evil. Oh.
Don't worry, Skeletor. Christmas only comes once a year.
Thank goodness.
Folks, this show truly does show the power of Christmas and how it can turn the master of evil into a caring, puppy-loving individual. And look at this face. Look how sad he actually is.
Oh, I think it's so stupid. So now we're gonna have the final scene. That's just like this. And now we're back at the castle. And
oh boy, we get to see Snout Spout use his nose for something other than putting out fires.
oh yeah, he's putting a star on the Christmas tree that they brought back with him. So now we know what happened to the tree that the kids brought with them.
That's right. They took it to a completely different planet. And the kids are standing between two laser beams.
Hold these belts while we fire this device.
Oh, not just any belts. They're flight belts, which I love about this because let's give this high technology to a planet that doesn't have flight belts.
Right, because that won't backfire and go poorly.
By the way, why don't they use these daggone flight belts in the actual cartoon? Oh wait, because it's a Christmas special.
That's right. Adam as Santa, he's giving them these ridiculous flight belts. Oh my god, this is great. I would be happy too. Hey, if as a kid, an alien is giving me flight belts, that'd be the best gift you can imagine getting in your life.
Of course, since it's the end, they have to give back the Manchine dog so they can send them back.
You can take alien technology, but not alien dogs, I guess is what we learned from all this. They're like, bye, we're going back now. All right, we're gonna use the Juice Maxima device where we're just warping back to our exact location back home. And now, how are they going to find out what happens? Because we've already explained how they're going to find out what happens.
Does not make any sense. They literally teleported them straight in front of their parents. Poof, they suddenly appear and they're like, oh, nothing strange happened here.
So the parents are happy they're there. They just teleported out of thin air in front of them. And it's like, oh, we were on an alien world. Sure you were, kids. We haven't seen you for 3 days, but it's nice that you decided to come back home again. I'm like, boy, these parents are handling this.
Well, no, you gotta remember, this is how we handle things back then. Your parents are like, go outside and play, kids. It's been 3 days.
Where's the tree you're supposed to get is what I'd be asking. 3 days and you still couldn't come back to the tree? I'd be like, where's
That's the proper thing they should be wondering about. After all, this is Gen X. Kids were just tougher back then.
Yes.
But they're like, we don't know where you got all that stuff from, but just go to bed.
And then they click the buttons on their belts and fly past them.
Good night, and Merry Christmas.
I scream with the most shocked, the zombie
Right
look
there.
of, oh my god, they weren't lying, as everyone's spying on them through the long-distance view screen. So, beware, folks. People on Eternia are watching you. They don't need a Sky Spy. I have no idea why they built that. All you have to do is push a button on any TV screen in Eternia, and you can spy anywhere in the galaxy at any time.
And now, Santa Adam goes over to tease his sis and pulls off the beard and goes, oh, I knew it was you all along. He's like, oh my god.
How'd you figure it out? And why did he color his blonde hair white? How did he do that? He's not wearing a wig. That's actually his hair colored white. Did you notice that?
Yep.
You know, at the end of every Heman and Shera episode, we need a moral. And this is no different. We're going to have a moral to end this episode, and it's going to be Prince Adam talking to Oroko about the spirit of Christmas. So the moral of this episode is
this.
So that's how Christmas first came to Eternia. Not everyone celebrates Christmas, but the spirit of the Christmas season is within us all. It's a season of love and joy and caring.
And presents.
Presents are nice, Orko, but Christmas means much more than that.
I know, Adam. Christmas is a time of peace and caring and happiness.
That's right, Orko. And what would make you happiest this Christmas?
Presents.
Oh, Orko.
oh, Orko, you're not getting anything for Christmas.
You went to another planet, kidnapped 2 kids, got them kidnapped once again by Skeletor because you couldn't watch out for them.
It's got the Monstroids involved, and we had to kill all of them, and then got Horde Prime involved. Without you, none of this would have happened, Orko. And you stowed away on the ship in the first place that caused all this. Oh, Orko, you think you're getting any presents?
You're getting cold. Just look at that grin. He's like, oh,
we're not getting Orko anything, no. And that was the He-Man Shera Christmas special, everybody. It's definitely an 80s time capsule for what it is, because you're not going to see anything like this ever again. Wow, this is what Christmas was like in the 80s. This is what bad guys were like in the 80s.
Everything that you wanted in an episode at this point, they stopped playing new episodes of He-Man for over a year now. Everything was in syndication. They wanted to make sure that you remembered it. This is a very fun and good Christmas episode for why it is. There's tons of cameos. It was great, and it actually talked about the spirit of Christmas and the reason for it briefly.
But now we're going to give our review, because that's what we do here. We are Vestor's Retro Reviews. We're going to review this episode as we wrap up our special holiday episode. So, Vespor, it is time for us to hear what you think of He-Man and Shera's Christmas special here on Vestor's Retro Reviews.
I think this was actually a wonderful episode. Now, animation-wise, storytelling-wise, it was all over the place. We had such leaps in logic that even for a 80s cartoon show, you're like, this makes some of the Transformers episodes we've seen make them seem like they are award-winning television series with everything correct and done to the best of their ability, which we know it's not.
Nope,
Watch our
no,
reviews.
yes.
That being said, it was incredibly fun, and it also showed out on missing opportunities with He-Man and Shera teaming up. I loved He-Man as a kid. I loved Shera for a little bit. Wasn't the same, but it was still fun. And you guys see them acting as brother and sister. It was a very wholesome experience. Although they did not use Cringer, which made me sad because I wanted to see Battle Cat. But they didn't do it because, as we all know as true He-Man supporters here, Battle Cat is infinitely better than a flying horse. This really does encapsulate the spirit of Christmas, the idea of the holiday season, family, friends, doing good for goodness sakes, even though it may have some questionable scenes. That all being said, I'm going to give it a good, solid 4 out of 5. If this wasn't being viewed through the lens of a nice holiday special, I'd still probably give it a 4, just because of the fact the crossover was cool, plenty of battle scenes, one-liners are being thrown everywhere, there's plenty of action, it didn't slow down, and it was just a very fun episode that I highly recommend. Go and watch for yourself, find it, watch it, buy it. It's worth adding to your DVD collection. Now, Ramses, let's hear what you have to say.
I enjoyed it for what it was. I don't think it's like the greatest thing ever made. I mean, it has its moments. I mean, when you watch this as a kid back in 1985, I think it was probably one of the greatest experiences ever. It's He-Man and Shera battling for the power of Christmas. It's a very cool idea, and they showed this on Christmas, which is very unique. Definitely advertising the Shera show, because that was still going on for another year. He-Man was still in repeats for at least another year. So this was also pushing the toy. They had a lot of new characters, a lot of Shera characters, and a lot of He-Man characters that didn't get much play in the show. They had a lot of funny, just tongue-in-cheek humor type things here. And Oroko acting like a doofus. I mean, that's what he does in every episode, so it wasn't a big deal. I too missed Cringer and Battle Cat. I think that's what was missing in this, because there wasn't any more He-Man. It would have been cool to see him one last time. I like the idea of this. It's like, let's get Christmas to Eternia, and they did it in a very logical way. The Queen is from Earth originally. They have established that in the canon of the show, so she's familiar with it. But when you brought the kids there, it was like, wow, they are so Christmas loving and so full of the Christmas spirit. Even Horde Prime realized, oh my gosh, something's wrong with the Christmas balance or something. I'm feeling good and brotherhood. He used a lot of weird words, and I love how the kids became like, oh, we gotta all capture him. Like, even the robots want to capture him. We don't know why they want to capture him. Skeletor wants him. Skeletor gets them, but the kids and the dog are so sweet and kind and loving and Christmas filled that Skeletor starts to feel the Christmas spirit. I mean, that's what Christmas was about in the 80s. It was about feel the spirit. It's all about love, joy, peace. You can't do anything wrong on Christmas because it's Christmas without getting too religious. That's what the episode got across, and it did it well. It's so sloppy how we get there. There's a lot of weird scenes. Like the robots, I don't get that. You have the most powerful monster, and we call it the Beast Monster. I'm like, really? We can't even come up with a name. We're going to be that lazy. We're going to call it the Snow Beast one creature and the Beast Monster another. The whole thing's silly. It was a lot of fun, though, and I like where they were going with it. I don't love it as much as Vespor, but I do appreciate it for what it is. I was a fan of He-Man and Shera growing up. I definitely watched all the episodes. I don't know if I watched them all as a kid, but definitely in my lifetime, I've seen every episode of both series. The funny moments are Skeletor being nice and friendly and realizing how powerful Christmas is, and the great moments are when He-Man and Shera are working together, beating up all the robots, destroying everything. So I'm going to give this 3 stars. A little lower than Vespor, but still much better than average. This is great. It had funny moments. It had some great situations. It had the Christmas feels. It was really getting to your heart, and you can definitely see they were stretching this to fill up an hour, but it's still a lot of fun. This is really it for He-Man, the original form of him, and I think it's a fun way to go out, and it's a fun way to enjoy Christmas, and anyone who hasn't seen it should.
So, I think that we can all say from here at Vesper's Retro Reviews, we wish for you to have a very happy holidays,
Merry Christmas,
Happy Hanukkah,
and a Happy New Year. And thank you all for joining us here on Vesper's Retro Reviews. It's been a great season, and we want to keep it going. Please let us know what you thought of this. I know some of you have seen this, and if you haven't seen it, please do so. It's readily available in many places, or even get it. Own it. This is a fun episode to have. Let us know what you thought of it, and thank you for sharing this holiday season with us. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next year on Vesper's Retro Reviews. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and of course,
ring that bell.